Ladies and gentlemen, I'm glad that we all got to be here, and we're going to be saying the Pledge of Allegiance. So, can you just take a moment and stand up and do the pledge? Is everybody ready? Okay. Ready? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you.
Good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon. Thank you so much for being here. You guys look wonderful. I'll start off with, my name is Debbie Court. I'm the Executive Director for the Thomas Empowerment Hour radio show. I'm so happy to be here, excited to be among our performers, our artists, our honorees, families and friends. Thank you again for being here. So, the mission of Tears, Inc., the Thomas Empowerment Hour radio show, also known as Tears, was founded in 2010 by Audrey Thomas, ESQ, myself, Tatiana Coy, Andrew Coy, Sean Patrick Coy, and Brianna Coy, to promote the pursuit of intellectual power. The purpose as in telos is to provide accurate and valuable information to the general public that would empower individuals in their decision-making process. Audrey Thomas, ESQ, is an attorney duly licensed to practice law before the courts of the state of New York, and therefore the program was built around addressing various legal issues. We try to encourage the listeners and viewers of our show to recognize and appreciate the financial security, that financial security isn't the only source of empowerment, but instead we encourage the listeners to recognize that knowledge is power. Therefore, we celebrate intellectuals by having them as our guest hosts on the show. While Tears, Inc. has guest hosts for various professional periodically, no persons or entity can pay to become a guest host on the show. This is because Tears, Inc. wants to maintain its autonomy and wants to remain objective and honest in the way the information is provided. Guest hosts are chosen based on our personal interaction with them and or personal observation of them. We also choose our guests based on their accomplishments and or recommendation of others. Tears, Inc. does accept contributions from the general public and or professional entities to sustain the cost of producing and broadcasting the show. Tears, Inc. is not a substitute for any formal professional service, but instead we do the show for informational purposes. Only the listeners and viewers are cautioned to seek formal legal and other professional counsel and advice with reference to their personal and business matters. Oftentimes, the listeners and viewers of Tears, Inc. will hire the law office of Audrey A. Thomas, PC, for legal representation. However, the two companies are separate and distinct, and all information provided by Tears, Inc. is for information only. We recognize that in this world, there is constantly going to be negative forces at play. However, we maintain that what they say and do isn't nearly as important as what you believe. Thank you so much and enjoy the show.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Kingsley Stewart, more commonly known as Ragashanti. And for those of you familiar with me, clearly I'm in a somewhat different capacity here this evening, okay? And I see the laughing start over there. How sweet you. Well, I'm going to be your master of ceremonies today, and it is indeed my profound pleasure to be sharing in this space with Audrey A. Thomas, a wonderful and delightful and charismatic human being, someone I have the pleasure of knowing personally. Good woman indeed, as we would say colloquially in Jamaica. And when she asked me to be here today, it was without hesitation that I accepted. So it is indeed my pleasure to introduce her to you today. Audrey A. Thomas. Mrs. Thomas, a 44-year-old mother of 9, 6 girls, 3 boys, She also has 2 granddaughters, 1 grandson, 2 stepchildren. Mrs. Thomas was in a relationship with Michael Kimbrough for a number of years, and then she married and divorced Andrew Coy. Later, she cohabited with Richard Leng. Mrs. Thomas is currently married to Jermaine T. Thomas, but the two are legally separated and will soon finalize a very friendly divorce. From the outset, you see that this is a candid affair, very transparent, deliberately so. She's not hiding anything. She's putting out everything in the open. Audrey graduated from St. John's University School of Law in 2000, where she earned a Juris Doctor degree, Brooklyn College in 1997, where she earned a master's degree in public administration, St. Francis College in 1995, where she earned her Bachelor of Arts degree in political science and associate's degree in criminal justice, Blake Business School in 1989, where she earned a degree in business, and George W. Wingate High School in 1987, where she earned a high school diploma after passing the general equivalency diploma GED exam. Mrs. Thomas currently runs a general practice in Queens County known as the Law Offices of Audrey A. Thomas at Francis Lewis Boulevard, Rosedale, New York. Mrs. Thomas serves as the co-host on the Empowerment Hour radio show on 93.5 every Wednesday night at 11 p.m. and the Linkage Radio on 101.5 every Saturday afternoon at 3 p.m. She's also a contributing editor of the Tears.com magazine, a quarterly periodical that covers, among other things, various legal issues. Mrs. Thomas worked as an assistant district attorney in the office of the district attorney, Kings County, from 2000 to 2004, under the leadership of the Honorable Charles Joseph Hines. She is the founder and CEO of the inspirational consulting firm, the Thomas Empowerment Center, Tears.com. Mrs. Audrey Thomas' favorite quote is simply, "If at first you don't succeed, brush yourself off and try again." This is because Mrs. Thomas has overcome much adversity. She was an illegal alien who gained citizenship through Ronald Reagan's amnesty program in 1989. She was a victim of rape and child molestation. She had her first child at age 15. Mrs. Thomas survived adultery, domestic violence, and many events that would have ruined other people's lives. Yet she continues to excel and declares that her struggles made her more compassionate, tolerant, and understanding, and gave her the impetus to write the book, Your Eyes Can't See My Heart, and several other books. Her legacy thus far is definitely her testimony that despite the detours she made, the pitfalls she experienced, and the obstacles she faced, she continues to excel in all she endeavors to do. Ladies and gentlemen, it is indeed my great, great pleasure to welcome on stage Mrs. Audrey A. Thomas. Give it up for her, please. And while she's coming on stage, I'm going to ask Lukey D to sing her a wonderful song for her entrance.
Oh, yeah. When I find myself in time of trouble, Audrey Thomas is there for me, speaking word of wisdom, let it be. And in the hour of darkness, there's the light that she shines on me. She is the answer, let it be. Let it be, let it be, let it be, let it be. Audrey Thomas is the answer, let it be. Whoa, whoa, she's there for me. Speaking rather wisdom, let it be. Yeah, yeah. And when the broken hearted living in a world of dreams, yeah, Audrey Thomas is the answer. Let it be, yeah. Let it be, let it be, let it be, let it be, yeah. Audrey, you're the answer. Let it be, oh, oh, oh. Let it be, let it be, let it be, oh, let it be. Audrey Thomas, you're the answer. Let it be, yeah, 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 yeah. Oh, oh. Oh. Thank you very much. Have a blessed day.
Ladies and gentlemen, give it up for Lukey D. Audrey, if you may, just sit in that seat over there. And the handsome gentleman that you see here, please, his name is Stephen Metcalf. He's an attorney at law, licensed to practice in New York, and I have the goods on him, you know. Yep, I have some good gossip on him. But it's all good. And Mr. Metcalf himself has his own inspirational story with respect to his overcoming cancer and the contribution his mother played in him overcoming cancer. He himself is an inspirational figure. He listened to Audrey on the radio and volunteered his service, and was a very hard worker, and slowly evolved into what some could consider an extension of Audrey in many respects. He's a friend, he's a colleague, and he has a good, warm, giving heart. Now, Mr. Metcalf, Stephen Metcalf here, he's going to be the one who will be engaging Audrey in this intimate discussion that I promise you will be revealing and simultaneously inspiring. Ladies and gentlemen, Audrey Thomas and Stephen Metcalf. Give it up for them right now.
So Audrey, I've read this book, and every single time I pick it up, every single chapter seems to still amaze me. Let's start off by telling everyone where your mother used to take you as a child.
Well, I wrote the book because, as you heard, I've overcome so much. And one of the things that I shared in the book, as you know, Stephen, is the fact that when I was born in 1970, ladies and gentlemen. So in those days, they didn't have ACS. And as a result of this, the common practice was to take your children with you to the dance hall, the bars, wherever you went, you took your children. Now, my mom, wherever she went, she carried me with her. And one of the places that she took me to when I was a very small child, maybe 3 or 4, was this go-go club. And she sat me on top of the bar, and I watched this go-go dancer. Now, you Americans here don't know what a go-go dancer is. A go-go dancer is the American equivalent of a stripper. And what I experienced at that young age was I saw a thing of beauty. I saw a very powerful woman with people throwing money at her. And in one instance, this one guy said, "That's his girl." The other guy said, "That's a whore." And immediately put money in her G-string. At that very moment, I decided I wanted to be her. And now my good friend Jay Schweitzman, who tells this story constantly because we're in court, and the guy comes and I ask him for my money. And he says, "Well, I didn't know I had to bring money." And I said to him, "If I had a choice, I would have been a stripper. I do this because I expect to get paid. I want my money." At which point, Jay almost fainted because he could not believe I said this. The valuable lesson that I learned from evaluating my childhood is the fact that at that very moment, I made a decision, and my mother had no clue what that decision was. And this is evinced by the fact that a few weeks later, She and I were walking down the street, and she said to me, well, what do you want to be when you grow up? And I said, nothing. She says, well, everyone wants to be something. And I remembered our little go-go club experience. So I threw my dress above my head, ran across the street and said, I'm going to become a stripper, a whore, because that was the word that was used. Well, my mother was besides herself, and she told everyone the story, and she kept saying, I don't know where she got this from. But the reality of it, ladies and gentlemen, the first chapter in the book talks about this, is that the very first few years of one's life is the most influential. And as you proceed as parents, you need to understand that the children you're raising are seeing everything that you're doing, and they're sharing in all your experiences, but they're not sharing in those experiences in the same way as you, right? So think about my stripper story the next time you interact with your child, publicly and privately.
It's a good thing we have a bunch of lawyers here, especially in the front row. We're going to have to consult some of you afterwards to make sure the statute of limitations is run on bringing such a young child to the go-go. But explain to us why you didn't become a stripper and you wrote the book entitled Your Eyes Can't See My Heart.
Because I wasn't only exposed to strip clubs. I had so many influences and balancing forces in my life that shaped who I became, right? And those forces are as follows. I have an Uncle Trevor who, when I was 3 years old, put me on his shoulder and walked me wherever I wanted to go. And one of the things he said to me as we were traveling was, I want you to understand something. It is extremely important for you to study. It is extremely important for you to read. And if you want to be a powerful woman someday, you should read the dictionary. I said, why, Uncle Trevor? He said, because when you know more words than them, and you understand those words better than them, that makes you more powerful than they are. And no matter how rich a person becomes, they will always need to consult with you because you know what they should do with their money. This is why, ladies and gentlemen, I've said unequivocally that intellectual power is greater than economic power. And the reason I believe this is simply because I am an attorney and I've experienced this firsthand. Right, Andrew Stowe? So that is the balancing forces. I also had an older brother. My older brother was a genius, is a genius. He started college when he was 11 years old. Therefore, I had to balance my equities. Did I want to be the bad sheep? Or was I going to do everything in my power to make sure I could keep up with him? And throughout my life, I've done that. Every time I acquired a degree, I went back and tried to debate him. But it wasn't until I acquired my law degree, that's a shameless lawyer plug, you should go to law school, until I acquired my JD, that was the very first time that I was actually able to hold my own against my brother in a debate. And I had my grandmother who constantly, when she cooked, sat me on the counter. And as she sat me on the counter, she played music, hence the setup here today. She played music and she talked to me constantly. She told me our family history. She told me why family is important, that she was the last surviving member of her bloodline, that had she not produced 8 children with 5 different men, we would not be here today. Because whatever was going on in their genealogy, she was the last surviving member of her family. In fact, the child her parents had before her lived 6 weeks and died. And that's the way her genealogy had gone for generations until she, my grandmother, was the last one. So it gave me a sense that I had a duty to do something more than just be a go-go dancer. I had to do something that my grandmother could be proud of. In addition, when I left Jamaica, I knew that a lot of people invested a lot of things to bring me here and to bring me to this land of opportunity. So I had to do something more. But most importantly, Stephen, what happened to me was the fact that no one ever allowed me to make excuses. No one. Should I share my Lacey story now?
Well, before you get into the Lacey story, in the chapter entitled, "You Are Exactly Who You Choose to Be," you
Yes.
state this, and I want to quote you. "There are protocols. Who you are is exactly who you choose to be, to the extent that your pursuits are supposed to be shaped by your belief, and your beliefs are supposed to be derived from your desires, and your desires are what covers the choices that you ultimately make." Now, your story with your mother changed my perspective on life, and now this is another story besides where she used to take you when you were younger. So can you let us know that story that has changed the way has led me to change my perspective on life?
Yes. What happened to me was I was about 5 years old. We lived in a place called Doncaster, and it was a beautiful home, beautiful. We lived on top of like a hill. There was a back staircases that led to the ocean, literally to the ocean. And the houses were very far apart. So I'm sitting maybe there, and this woman, Lacey's daughter, is sitting maybe there. I had no reason to sense danger. So I was teasing her because my mommy bought me a very beautiful sailor suit, and it was so much nicer than what she was wearing. But that kid had an aim that was fierce, because she sailed a rock all the way here and hit me in the center of my forehead. Blood started gushing down my chest, right? So I ran in the room and I said, Patsy, Lacey daughter bust my head. And my mother said, "What did you do to Lacey's daughter?" What? People don't bust people's heads so badly unless they do something to them. Seriously? And that, ladies and gentlemen, is consistently how my mother and father and grandmother and step-parents raised me. Each time I complained about something that wasn't going the way I wanted it to, I was met with some explanation as to why I needed to take responsibility. That was a good thing, because as an adult, each time I found myself in a difficult, compromising situation, and I've been through some severe emotional hurt, I've always managed, if you stayed away from me for 3 days, because if you were in front of me, Damien had to represent me. But if you avoided me for 3 days, that was my cooling off period, I was able to rationalize and reflect and do the Lacey evaluation. And I'm telling you, the reason why I'm here today sharing these stories and the reason why I wrote the book is I learned something. These things are contagious. Stories like these catch on. Jay Schweitzman, who's one of the most dedicated criminal defense attorneys I know, tells that story constantly, because that's how much he valued the lessons that learned. And when he takes the podium to receive his award this evening, I'm sure he'll share with you that he has used that story during a summation successfully. Because that's what the Thomas Empowerment Hour radio show is about. It's about helping you and empowering you in your decision-making process. It's about teaching you that you are not a victim, you are a target. And the reason why I say victim is because as long as you think yourself a victim, it is impossible to see what you've done wrong. And your potential for wickedness is heightened, because the word war is an acronym for "we are right." So you must think yourself a target. Why? Because targets are equipped with the necessary tools to defend themselves appropriately. And it's a much better position to be in.
And So it begins, and so the knowledge is being disseminated. I just want to thank you all for being here and just taking the time for looking so fabulous. I'm looking at you all, and you're all looking so exquisite and thing. Big thank you. As you're well aware thus far, the format is a little discussion and a little bit of entertainment, primarily indigenous Jamaican entertainment. And of course, it has to be appropriate for the occasion. None of that mix-up stuff. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to bring on stage right now, before the next section of discussion, I want to welcome on stage. I'm just going to introduce all three of them at the same time, and they will come on. They've worked out their thing. Teddy Selassie, Milton Sams, and Mr. Breaker. Clap them!
Yeah, college. Yeah. Yeah. Run it. Whoa. Yeah. Eternal Father, bless our land. Gotta know you have a plan. Don't you see what's happening to Jamaica? The bombs have thrown, the lives that's gone. Father told me was to go by Molly Marcus Garvey, crying to you, sweet Jamaica, no sweet Jamaica. Sweet Jamaica, hallelujah, hallelujah. Yeah, y'all college one thing. Yeah, Miss Audrey, a little more. Bless you. Check it. I was born by the river in a little tent, whoa, just like a river I've been running for ever since. It's been a long time coming, but I know, change gon' come, whoa, yes it will. It's been too hard living, but I'm scared to die. And I don't know what's up there, yeah, beyond the sky. It's been a long time coming, but I know, change gon' come. Whoa, yes, it will. Check it. I go to the movies and I rap uptown. People keep on telling me bills don't hang around. It's been a long time coming, but I know, change gon' come. Whoa, yes it will. Listen, then I go to my brother, and I said, brother, can you help me please? But he just winds up knocking me way back. Whoa, there've been times that I thought I could last for long, but I think I'm able just to carry on. It's been a long time coming, but I know, change gon' come. Whoa, yes it will. Yeah.
Mr. Audrey Thomas, it's a special privilege to be here. And I'm looking forward to read your book. And I want to say something before going further. Love and hate can never be friends. Oh no. Oh no, 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 no. Here I come with love and not hatred. Surely goodness and mercy shall follow you all the days of your life. Envy no one, you got no wish to be with no evil man. For then comes that day when you'll be weak by the Father's hand. Oh, leave up Rasta people. Oh, rhythm chop. Come along, yes, and keep my song. Too much wagonist, too much antagonist. Wolf and lepers are trying to kill the sheep and the shepherd, yes. Wolf and lepers are trying to kill the sheep and the shepherd, well. Too much informers, there's too much talebearers. There's too much informers and too much talebearers. Time to separate the sheep from the wolves. We're at the crossroad, and this is the time of decision. Too much informers.
As we proceed forward, Audrey and Stephen will now be addressing chapter 3 and 4. Chapter 3, an interesting title there. All good competition comes with a friend, and ignorance is inherently unjust. Ladies and gentlemen, Audrey Thomas, Stephen Metcalf.
Now, on our radio show, which airs on Wednesday nights at 11 p.m. on 93.5 FM, you constantly hammer home the point that at times you have to question the motive of even the other person who may even be giving you advice.
Absolutely. One of the things that I want to say to you is that you need to understand that everyone has some level of self-interest. And the reason why I like those two chapters, 3 and 4, is because I talk about the fact that most people, when they believe that they are right, cannot see what they're doing wrong. And I believe that ignorance is inherently unjust simply because if a person isn't aware of the impact or the effect of their actions, how could they act in a manner that is just and even fair? It's almost impossible. We as attorneys, and I'm certainly the Honorable Justice Evelyn Laporte, who is so beautiful tonight and just looks amazing, sees what I'm talking about daily. When people are violently self-interested, their potential for wickedness is probably at its greatest. And I mentioned to you before about the tremendous impact my mother had on my life, and I shared my story of Lacey with you. But before I go any further, I'm going to ask all of you to do me the honor of just standing with me to acknowledge not only my mother, but my Uncle Trevor, who I saw running up the hall, but my mother, Patricia Sims, is here tonight. I thank you. I praise you. I worship you. And everything that I am is you. Thank you.
In sharing those wonderful stories about your mother and how they not only changed the way your life shaped out, but also now is changing the lives of others. You constantly say, we're 90% complicit in everything that happens to us.
That's actually a quote by my brother, Mark, who couldn't make it here today. He recently had some surgeries and couldn't travel here. But my brother, Mark, who's my oldest brother, I have 5 brothers, Mark, Wayne, Christopher Jr., and I don't know if Wayne is here, are all here tonight. But Mark always said that you are 90% complicit in everything that happens to you. And to demonstrate this to me, when I was going through a breakup, a really bad relationship, I was telling him all of the horrible things that I was going to do to Jermaine. Cover your ears. Where is Jermaine? Jermaine, raise your hand.
That way.
That way? Jermaine, cover your ears, okay, please. I was telling Mark all of the horrible things that I was going to do to Jermaine. And Mark said to me, because I was so irate, he said, hold me down. And I held him down. I held him and I was holding him. And he said, now go about your business. And I tried to leave, and he hit me. And I said, why do you keep hitting me? And he did it like 4 or 5 times. And finally he said to me, you cannot keep anyone down without staying down with them. Get out of his way so you can find your way. And that was shocking. But I accepted it, and I was able to process it because, as you know, I had this type of training consistently throughout my childhood and into my adult life. So I really knew this, but I didn't want to accept it. I didn't want to accept that somehow I played a role in whatever transpired. I wanted very much to be the victim because I wanted to justify my own thoughts of wickedness. And I think, Stephen, that this would be a good point for me to give out the first set of honors. I want to share with you that I talk about my mother and how amazing she is, but my mother wasn't always there. My mother wasn't always able to care for me. There was a time that my mom said to me when I was a little girl, I'll be right back. And again, for me, that meant she'll be back tomorrow. I didn't see her again for 5 years. It was 5 years before I saw her, right? But she had to make a choice. You know, as parents, you make choices, and they're hard, and you don't know how they affect your children. But it was stay here and hope that something works out, or go to America and make a better life and bring them along later on. That's one of the hardest decisions any parent has ever had to make. When I went to law school, I got kicked out after I failed the first semester. I failed violently. And they said, you have a choice. Remedy whatever caused you to fail or leave. And I said, I'll make the decision. And I had to ask my ex to take all of my children and raise them while I pursued my law degree. And that wasn't easy for the children. But we survived it because we did it as a team. We worked together for a common good. And so there were people who impacted my life. Those people that stood in for my mother when she couldn't do it, 2 of them are no longer with us. The first is Mr. Burton Buchanan and his entire Buchanan family, who has become my extended family, my cousins and aunt and so forth, and Miss Heloise Smith, who is Burton's sister. And they became my aunt and my uncle, and they, along with my mom, carried me through that portion of my life. So tonight, although Burton Buchanan and Eloise Smith are not here, I'm going to ask that their families come up and accept the Tears Humanitarian Award for Excellence in Community Service, because they never treated me differently. They opened their doors to me, and they made certain that I felt like a member of the family. And the lessons I learned when I was a part of their family, when they played foster family to me, are invaluable. So at this point, I'm going to ask Tanya to come up and accept the award for Eloise Smith and Burton Buchanan Tanya. And as we're waiting, one of the other honorees is, as you can see, Patricia Sims, because they say charity begins at home, and she was where it all began. And I'm asking her to come up, not because of what she did for me, but because of the countless lives that Patricia Sims touched while she was raising us. There were times that my brother and I were just sick and tired of stepping over the people that she housed, because she was trying to help those who were less fortunate than us. At the time, Mark and I thought we were the least fortunate, but she was always opening her doors to everyone else. So Patricia Sims, if you would please come up and accept your award. And Ariel, please come up with her.
I'm not Tanya, okay?
No, Tanya will do it. Hi, how are you? And ladies and gentlemen, this is Renee. She's the managing paralegal at the law firm. Show them out, Tommy. Now, we also had awards for several educators, Mrs. Cooper Bigsby, Mrs. Coughlin, Mrs. Herbert, Miss Small, Miss Rabinowitz, all of whom, because of the holiday schedule for school, are away and sent us warm regards, thanked us for the honors. We will pass on the awards to them. So I'm going to ask the children, Michaela, Kayla, Adriana, Samia, please come up and accept the award for your teachers. These educators have been invaluable. They dedicate their time after school without compensation to teach these children how to dance, and every year they put on a showcase that is unbelievable. We are always blown away by what they've pulled together. So girls, please come up and accept the award. Samia, please come up and accept the award for your teachers. Now, we also wanted to award Dr. Kali Audkirk and Dr. Timothy Jayasundara for the tremendous work that they do. Although they have private practices, they also do a lot for the community, providing free health care to those who otherwise couldn't afford it. And I want to commend them for their service. You know, ladies and gentlemen, my goal, I have on the handout an explanation of what my goal is. My goal in doing this is to make this an annual thing, excuse me. But my goal is to ensure that those who are intellectuals will end up on cereal boxes and Nike sneaker boxes. Nike will make a brand called the Andrew Stoll sneaker. Ear Stoll? Yeah, because we want to find a balance, and I believe that there should be a situation where people are rewarded for being educators. It shouldn't take doing something else to get famous. I shouldn't have had to create my own magazine to put my face on the cover. Yeah, I did that. Because I don't like hearing no. We as intellectuals, people who pursue education, who do other things good, I say, should be recognized. And right now, I'm going to say this to you, and I'm going to stand when I say this. I have invited several of my colleagues and friends here, and a few of them are being awarded. This is not to say that other people who work in the profession aren't deserving of awards, but the TEARS Awards, this is our first year, was created to say thank you to those who otherwise won't receive a thank you, who work with minimal pay and sometimes get criticized before a person even says thank you. What I am doing tonight, I'm hoping is going to be an annual thing. And we asked someone to put the magazine cover together with the names of the honorees. And what they neglected to do was to add the law firm of Stoll, Glickman, and Bellina to the list. Now, they say good things come to those who wait. And this is a good thing. I'm going to tell you right now, as the voice of empowerment, that the law office of Stoll, Glickman, and Bellina is the greatest civil rights law firm in the world. And it must be true because Audrey Thomas said it. And on that note, I'm going to ask Mr. Andrew Stoll to take the stage and tell us why Stoll, Bellina, and Glickman is the greatest law firm in the world. Civil rights law firm. Civil rights. Yes, go ahead.
Audrey said she was going to make it up to me for not putting me on the program here. That was a fine shout out. It's an honor to be recognized by somebody like Audrey Thomas because she is just about the most unique, hardest working lawyer I know in New York City, and that is to say the most unique, hardest working lawyer I know in the country, and that is to say in the world. She has more going on in a day than most of us have going on in a month. And she's got a hard edge sometimes and a really soft heart. So it's really, we are honored at my firm to be recognized by her. She's created this community around her, and it's this community of outsiders and insiders, and she brings them all together. And that's what it's going to take to change this system, is to take people from the outside and put them on the inside. Take them from the outside, from the streets, and educate them, and put them in black robes, and put them in school, and put them in government, and change the system from the inside out. And she's the ultimate inside outsider. So that's what we need. Things are changing here in New York. We finally have a mayor who gets it, who really understands what happens in the city and understands how things have to change. He has put a new commissioner of corrections in place who is really a reformer and really going to change Rikers Island, so that you know that if your loved one and our loved one gets accused of something and gets sent to Rikers, that's not somewhere else. That's not far away, some other planet, some other island. That's New York City, and that's our brothers and our sisters and our people, and we need to take care of them. You know, the one thing is, it requires, even if we have the right mayor and the right commissioner of corrections and maybe the right commissioner of the police department, it requires constant vigilance from us, from you, and from us to keep pushing them to do the right thing. And if your kids are stopped on the street for no reason, make sure that that same thing is happening to white kids who go into school on the Upper East Side, right? And make sure that your schools are getting the same attention and the same resources and the same quality teachers as our schools in the middle of Park Slope, because this is one community. And if your kids are getting stopped on the streets for no reason, do something about it. If you're getting exploited at work and you're not getting overtime and you should be getting overtime at work, do something about it and call somebody like Audrey.
Call 718-852-3710. 718-852-3710. I don't do civil rights work, sir.
That worked out nicely. We'll help you make things right, and hopefully together we'll all make this a better city for every single person who lives in the city. We're honored to be here.
I love you. Yes, you do, but you got to give it back. It's the fake one. Ladies and gentlemen, I had the program scheduled a certain way, but we're having some technical difficulties. But as you can see, there's a little red book cover, which is just the cover of the book, and a little excerpt inside. I want to share my story with you now, and then I'm going to, after we take our break, have the young man who is the subject of the excerpt perform. I don't know if you have another one queued, but we'll take it from there. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to say this to you. I'm not saying that it's going to be easy. I'm not even saying that you're going to get things the way you want it. But what I am saying to you is that if you try it your way, if you give your ideas and your hopes and your dreams a chance, even if it doesn't work out the way everyone else wants it to, and you don't end up having the Thomas Empowerment Hour radio show awards seminar with all your friends coming to bear witness, the ride is always nice. Life is so worth living. And I'm sharing this with you because as I sit here today, I am so thanking God that when I filled my hands with a bunch of pills and tossed them in my mouth and drank a glass of water and curled up in a ball, my brother found me and said, "Sandy, what have you done?" I'm so glad that at 15, when I tried this horrible outcome, this horrible way out, I didn't succeed. My mother sits here today, and to this day, she never knew what happened and how close she came to only having one child. And ironically enough, there's a huge pressure on siblings. Because when Mark found me, do you know what he did, the poor kid? He gave me a gallon of milk to drink, walked me around a room for hours, and talked to me and kept checking my pupils to make sure I wasn't dead. And then I swore him to secrecy. Because this is what I'm saying to you. Children don't know how to cope. And we have to come together and talk to them and explain to them. Because if we leave them to their own devices, they won't end up here. They will end up in Rikers Island. They will end up charged with murder. They will end up dead themselves, or they will end up addicted to drugs. You are in a very powerful position to save a life that might even be your own. Because when you do something that benefits a child, you create a lifetime circumstance that's going to protect your interest, because that child will become your ally. And when that child becomes a high-powered criminal immigration defense attorney with her own radio show, she'll remember you and recognize you and credit you for your efforts. But all you have to do is stop and just help. That's what the Thomas Empowerment Hour radio show is about. That's what the award is about. It's about recognizing those who stopped and helped. And before we break, I'm going to talk about one more person who stopped and helped, only because I know he may have to go and I want him to receive his award. And then after the break, we will continue with the program and we'll give out the rest of the awards. I have a friend who says to me constantly, "Audrey, you're crazy, but I love you." And he has been the recipient of, we have had the show now 4 years, and for 2 years in a row, 2011 and 2012, he was the attorney of the year for the Thomas Empowerment Hour radio show. And that person received that award because he tried 9 felony cases in less than a year and won every single one of them, back to back. That is more cases than most attorneys who have been in practice 25 years ever get to try. And then he says, he calls me up and he says, "I've done it again." This gentleman has always been there to hear me whine on the phone and cry about all the reasons why I am so upset and angry. And he talks me through my wickedness until I'm back to a level of goodness, until I'm back to a level of reasoning where an attorney should be. And no matter when I call or how I try to go down the crazy path, he's constantly there to turn me back. But he's not being awarded the Tears Empowerment Humanitarian Awards for Excellence because of that. He's being awarded this award because no matter what, I'm certain from my interactions with him that the community he serves is vital vitally important to him. I am certain that he cares as much about his clients as I do my children, because we've had those conversations and I've seen him, and that is why he's so successful in what he does, because he dedicates the time and the effort that is needed to represent someone in the same way you would your own child. Ladies and gentlemen, I introduce to you Mr. Douglas G. Rankin. And as we say in Jamaica, Rankin Skonkin. Give him a song, please. Taddy Selassie, serenade him a liquor for me now. A liquor thing.
You know I love this.
I love you more. Tanya?
I feel good when you're wrapped up in my arms, dancing to a reggae song.
Good afternoon, everybody.
When he walks. Yeah.
You know, Audrey truly underestimates herself. You know, she says that I inspire her, but in reality, I think she inspires me. I do okay in one area. I am a pretty decent trial attorney.
Excellent.
Audrey Thomas does well in a million areas. She cares about her community and puts forth the effort to do things like this, and she does it all the time. She operates a radio show so that she can get the message out to you, everyone, on how to empower themselves. She writes books so that everyone can learn from her mistakes. So, you know, I'm going to keep it very brief, and I just want to say that she is the one that inspires me. And I'm definitely grateful for her friendship and grateful for everything that she does. And it's a wonderful day for her, and she deserves it.
Thank you. We're going to give you the real trophy soon. Okay. I love you. Listen, I'm very candid. Douglas didn't order the trophies in time, so we're giving out soccer trophies to everyone. They will get the real trophies later. Thank you, Douglas. All right, ladies and gentlemen, where's Mr. Ragashanti, my master of ceremony? I've lost him. Mr. Ragashanti. I think, sir, this is a good point for us to break, but do we want to have a performance before we break? Raga is not singing here today.
No, I can sing. Here we go. Mary I tell you what, I think this is a good time to have your son up here. Wild, where are you, Wild? Wild! And do you mind if Wild wants to bring his friend up here?
Wild should bring his friend.
See, an accommodating mother.
Yes. Wild! Ladies and gentlemen, as Wild is taking the stage, I'm going to ask Mr. Damian Brown to just come up with me. He's an honoree, but right now I want him here because this is Wild's attorney, and he's the reason why Wild is here today. So I'm sure he wants to share in this moment.
I'm not dancing or singing.
You might have to.
I was told you were dancing.
Where's Wild? Wild? Ladies and gentlemen, you have the excerpts, right? Have all of you read the little excerpt about Wild? So we're going to bring Wild out. Now, ladies and gentlemen, Stephen, you want to join us, or you're good where you are?
I'd like to join.
Okay. Now, ladies and gentlemen, one of the most difficult things in my life, you've read the excerpt, I'm going to tell you, is that this young man right here, while I was busy pursuing me, I forgot about we. I left Debbie and Michael to raise the little ones. And while Debbie and Michael never gave me a moment's trouble, except for the time I had to spoon her, but that's okay. We kind of lost track of Andrew and Patrick for a little bit. And is Sean here? Because I'm going to have him. Sean, come out, sweetheart. Sean? If Sean is here, we'll bring him up too. But this is the story that I wrote in the little excerpt. When I was 7 months pregnant, they told me this child would not survive. And I prayed a prayer. I said, God, I just want to meet him and take a photo of him, hold him in my arms and name him. I just want to name him, just once. I want to see his face and see him smile. I don't want him to be the fetus that will ultimately abort itself. I want to know him. I want to hold him. I want my husband to meet him. Just give me one day. I prayed for one day, and God gave me 17 whole years. And on that feeling, each time I walk in a room, I love this child so much. I see him and I think, there's my peace, there's my joy, there's my promise that God is fulfilling. He's giving me more days with this child. Until one day, hold your brother's hand. Hold your brother's hand. Until one day, I got a phone call. Hold your brother's hand. And it was Jamaica Hospital, right? Now this is all funny now, but this is serious stuff. It was Jamaica Hospital. And they said, do you have a son? Michael, come to your mother. Hurry up. And I said, I have 3. And they said, and I said, hold on. So I called Michael on the telephone, and he answered, so I knew it wasn't him. And then I went downstairs and I looked in the back bedroom and I saw Sean lying there, and I knew it wasn't him. And my heart sank because I knew at that moment that it was Andrew. So I said to the nurse, I said, let me speak to the officer. Let me speak to the officer that is in the room with you. And she said, what are you talking about? I said, ma'am, I'm going to hang up the phone if you don't. And she said, hi, son. She said, officer, this woman wants to speak to you. And I asked the officer, I'm a former prosecutor from the Brooklyn DA's office. I'm a criminal defense attorney. I've seen a lot. Speak to me like I'm an adult. Is he likely to die? And he said, ma'am, we don't know. And I said, what happened? And he said, he was shot in the back of his head, and he was shot in the back. The bullet entered the back of his head and came out through the top, through the back and out his neck. And I said a prayer, and then I went to court. And my prayer was this: God, I asked you for one day, and you gave me 17 years. Whatever is your will, let it be done. But I would like one more day just to tell him I'm sorry, to say to him that I forgot about the we as I was pursuing the me. I forgot about everything you had to endure while I was going to law school and college and doing everything that would benefit me and under the guise that it would benefit us. Because the one benefit they didn't have was the benefit of their mother to be there to raise them in the way that a mother should. And knowing that their father had been deported to Jamaica, this is my stance against deportation, I should have been there. But more importantly, when I found out that Andrew was in the Bloods and Sean was in the Crips, I simply painted Sean's room. I simply painted Sean's room blue and Andrew's room red. And I put Sean on the first floor and Andrew on the second, and I said to the two of them, these are the realities of joining a gang. And let me say this to you. Today, as I stand before you, Andrew is about to release his album and his book called From Prison to Praise. Sean Patrick is on his way to law school in September. Michael is in the veterinary program, about to become a veterinarian. And I can say this: we may have had some detours, but we had Damian Brown. We had Douglas Rankin. We had Andrew Stoll. We had Evelyn Laporte, who when she saw me in court sometimes looking broken and scared and disencouraged, she would call me up and hug me and say, "Hello, mamita. It's going to be okay. Just remember I love you." We had help. We never did any of it alone. The 9 of us always had help. We had Jermaine. Where's Jermaine? Mr. Thomas, come and take the stage. Who is the bravest man I know. Mr. Thomas, come up here, please. Come up here, please. Jermaine is the bravest man I know because I would never marry any person with 7 children. Mr. Thomas, we thank you. And it wasn't easy, right? And we have had our issues, but we've bonded together and we've done what is in the best interest of the children. And we can say today the children are okay. No matter where you are now or what you're going through, I am telling you that if you pursue the proper resolutions to whatever your issues are, you too can be able to say, thank God we made it through. Just give them a small piece of your song, please. At this time, ladies and gentlemen, as you take your seat, I want to talk to you about an attorney that is near and dear to my heart. His name is Jay Schweitzman, And Sean Patrick, can you please get Mr. Schweitzman from the green room? Jay Schweitzman is the president of the Kings County Bar Association, Criminal Bar Association. He also has a general practice law firm. Mr. Harpass, please come to the front. He also has a general practice law firm in Queens County where he represents the community tirelessly. Jay Schweitzman and I met because I was representing a client, and while I was representing this client, he had a co-defendant. And the co-defendant's attorney insisted that this young man take a plea. And the attorney kept saying, you know you did it. You need to take the offer. It's a good offer. Now, I didn't want to interfere with the attorney-client relationship, but my position was the law does not call for an attorney to tell his clients that he should take the plea because he did it. The law says, can the district attorney prove beyond a reasonable doubt that this person committed this particular crime? Because if they can't, the verdict has to be not guilty. Well, fortunately for this young man, his mother fired the attorney and hired Jay Schweitzman. And that's how I met Mr. Schweitzman. Jay Schweitzman stepped in, and he and I worked feverishly, and both those young men received non-jail, non-criminal dispositions after our tireless efforts. We've maintained our relationship throughout the years since that experience, and in that time, I have observed personally that Jay Schweitzman continuously does what he does for the community because it's what's in his heart. And that's what Tears is about, honoring people who, even if they're being paid, you can never pay a person enough for going above and beyond the call of duty. So tonight, I want you to join me as I honor Mr. Jay Schweitzman for his contributions to the community that he serves. Take the podium, please.
Thank you. It's an honor to be here to share this evening with Audrey A. Thomas. She is truly a remarkable person. I learn from her each and every time I see her. And it's by talking to people, talking to her, that I was able to really get to know her. And the more you talk to her, the more you find out great things about her, her family, and what she does for the community. So I'm very honored to be here. In fact, I did not hesitate to come here when she asked me to receive an honor because she's writing a book. So I'm honored to be here. What I'd like to tell you what I know about Audrey is, as she indicated that she was a young child and saw a go-go, a stripper. And she recounted the story that she told to me a few years ago when she was talking to a client and she said, "Pay me because I don't want to strip." But Audrey, in fact, people, or that experience when you were younger, you're living that out now because persons are throwing money at you. And they're throwing money at you because of your intellect, because of what you do, and it's just another way of getting people to recognize you and everything that you do. So it's your great skills that allow people to throw money at you, but not for dancing, but for being a great lawyer.
I can actually dance really.
Now, I know she's going through her book, and she's a very successful lawyer, so you'll notice in her book that there is no Chapter 11, because Chapter 11 refers to bankruptcy, and that's something that Audrey will never have to go through.
Steve just thought it wasn't important.
We took it out.
But what I'd like to say is, and if her mother is here, Patricia?
Patricia went to the back.
But truly, the story that she told, I wanted to run by her mother because it was a sensational trial that I had. And I was searching for the summation, the right thing to say. And just by talking to Audrey one day in the courthouse, she recounted to me when I was asking her about how she grew up and she saw good and bad, how she had an uncle in jail or a son in law school, the different emotions that she has inside of her, the good and the bad. And she recounted that story about Lacey, how her mother, when she came in with blood all over her face, said, "What did you do to Lacey that got her to throw that rock at you?" And so using those words and applying them, and it worked wonders, and it made sense. And it made sense in a self-defense type of case. And so it worked, and I thank you again, Audrey, and I look forward to speaking to you. But before I leave, there's something I'd like to tell your audience. Remember, me tell you. Me hear big things. Agwan for you, me sister. You swag, tune up. Thank you, Audrey, and lots of luck.
I love you, Jay. And another fake trophy.
There's nothing fake about Audrey.
It's all real.
Love you.
Thank you. Jay, my mom's right there.
Jay, I like you. And I like your patois. Jay said, "Mim, I'ma tell you, and the big things are going for you. Your swag, turn up." Okay, ladies and gentlemen, I like the vibes right now. It just make me want to do some crazy stuff. But listen out. We're going to welcome one of Jamaica's veteran performers. And veteran, it's kind of ambiguous because she looks nothing like a veteran. In fact, she's one of the artists from Jamaica who could easily pass for somebody in her early 20s. She too has been through some tremendous ups and downs, some difficulties, and she has managed to overcome them. She has a distinction of being one of the few lasting artists, not only in dancehall but in the reggae fraternity, commanding the respect of people left, right, and center. Her name is a household name amongst Jamaicans. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome on stage, Lady G.
How you doing, my people? Woo! Yeah. It's a pleasure being here tonight. And Sister Audrey, that's a big up. But Steve, don't worry yourself, because them say, behind every great man, there is a good woman, right? That's what I'm saying, go? All right. Audrey, yes. I'm dedicating this one to you. And this song was done by myself and Sister Marcia Griffiths. It goes like this. They say girls take a little longer to see the wonders of Jehovah. But I know if it wasn't for the sisters, a lot of brothers would have faltered. Some say girls believe in material things, fancy clothes and chains and things. I know if we were not humble, a lot of brothers would have faltered. So take a look. It wasn't written in a book. It's plain to see. It's not a misery. Whoa, whoa, woman, mother of the greatest nation. Woman, teachers of the young generation. Stronger than a roaring lion. So let me hear the voice of the people, them sing. Na, 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 whoa, whoa, whoa. Come on, sing with me. Me say, na, 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 whoa. And me say, sing along, sing along. Na, 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 whoa, whoa, whoa. Your time. Na, na, na. I mean what I say now. I say, woman, don't give up even though it's hard. Woman, one day we will get reward. Woman, you have to keep you ever to the sky. Me know say it hard, but make we try. Me say to every woman everywhere, this song me dedicate. Woman who want fight it in her life, I try to elevate. Struggling, juggling, still not give up the faith. Woman who a lawyer, woman who a eagle, woman who a sell food out of school gate. Independent woman who always a try. Hustling for the better as days go by. Woman who a doctor, teacher, who a educate. Don't give up the fight, cause the job you're doing great. Woman who a carry mother and father, Lord. Don't get weary and jump overboard. Audrey, me know it's not an easy road. Make we sing again. Na, 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 whoa, whoa, whoa. Come on, let me hear you. And me say sing along, na, na, na. Lord, Lord, na, 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 whoa, whoa. That sound beautiful.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome on stage. Nothing is difficult for this man. Nothing is difficult for this man. And so it is that his name is Mr. Easy.
Yeah. Na, 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 yeah. She's got the touch I love so much, but now I'm disappointed. Like day turn to darkness. Oh yeah, under her spell she got me crushed. I sworn I was anointed, got caught in her madness. Oh yeah, she had me fooled for a while. With her sexual motion like taking candy from a child. Stuck on a love potion, I can't believe the change she's made. Like wolf in cheap clothing. Woo yeah, she drives me crazy. Cause she's having my baby. She drives me crazy. And I thought she was a lady. Woo yeah, like a volcano she erupt, just blowing up my pager every minute, every hour. Woo yeah, ain't nothing sweet about this syrup. I tried the wrong flavor. Woo, yeah. So never trust a pretty smile, cause looks are deceiving. Sexy walk model profile. So pretty girls are misleading. Lesson learned, don't judge no book by looking at the cover. Woo, she drives me crazy. Cause she's having my baby. And I thought she was a lady. Woo, 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 woo. My crib, my Benz, my loot, she falls. To her, it's all that mattered. That's the life she wanted. Woo, yeah. I said that I could never start or be played by a player. Woo, woo, woo. Yeah, 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 yeah. But now I'm stuck with her for life. She's having my shawty. She will never be my wife, just my baby's mommy. Homies tried to show me signs. I was too caught up to leave his son. Woo, woo, woo. Woo, 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 woo. She drive me crazy, 'cause she's having my baby. She drive me crazy. And I thought she was a lady. Mr. Easy.
Ladies and gentlemen, I want to finish giving out the rest of the awards because our time is so limited. I wish we had more time. The next person I'm going to call up is a gentleman that I'm certain that if he saw me on the streets or in the elevator, wouldn't really recognize me because I change my weave so quite often. But I can tell you that whenever I've called upon him, he has been there to help me. And he has been there to help so many attorneys who are actually paid ridiculous sums of money to do their private practice while he is a member of the Legal Aid Society. I met this wonderful attorney who dedicates his time and effort to help so many of us who are in private practice because he cares about the people he serves. And you know, I'm always amazed that when people talk about the Legal Aid Society, they often say, I didn't have a lawyer. I had a legal aid, as if legal aid attorneys are not lawyers. Well, let me tell you today, some of the greatest attorneys ever, including Andrew Stoll, came out of the legal aid office. And this man is the reason why so many people who otherwise would have been subjected to post-release supervision are free and clear without having to answer to the government today, because he was relentless in his briefing and his determination to make sure that justice was done. Ladies and gentlemen, it is my privilege and my absolute honor to introduce to you Mr. Elon Harpaz. Let me shake your hand and thank you.
Thank you so much. Wow. I don't know what to say about that. That's about the nicest things anybody has ever said to me in 25 years of practicing law. And
we can all relate.
And to have it come from Audrey Thomas makes it extra, extra special. So thank you so much for that. I just want to say one thing, and I'll be real quick. For the last 10 years, every Wednesday I go to Rikers Island. I go to a little trailer where they have a little courtroom, and I represent clients there. And some of them, each week, are brought in shackled hand and foot, black and brown people, and every week that happens, I think to myself, I know slavery was supposed to have ended in this society 150 years ago, but it seems to be alive and well at Rikers Island.
Yes.
And all I can say is, I look forward to the day when none of us ever has to see that again.
Yes. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. And ladies and gentlemen, I'm telling you, knowledge is power. Go on the Legal Aid website, find out what they need, and support them, because they do what us as private attorneys are not privileged or even able to do, because we have to pay our bills. They have resources available to them that they can use to help you. So thank you, Elon Harpaz. Thank you. Now, I'm going to deviate from the attorney's schedule. I'm saving the best for last, Damien, don't worry. I'm going to deviate. As James McGee come in, I hope you guys are going out and seeing James McGee. He promised me that he would be here to provide free legal services and advice and to guide you in whatever way as a favor to me. I respect him, and I want you guys to visit his table and take a card and just get a consultation, because you can never get enough, okay? Now, I have 3 civilians that I want to recognize. I don't have my glasses, so I don't know if they're here, but I know I saw Cheryl Rich. Cheryl Rich, Garfield Little, and Leroy Coleman have been invaluable in terms of how they have inspired me. I learned kindness from Cheryl. I learned friendship from Garfield. And I learned devotion, dedication, and commitment from Leroy Coleman. These 3 people all have their own businesses, and I came to have relationships with them as I was pursuing my own dreams and as I was starting up my law practice. When I didn't think I could do it, Garfield Little rented me a little room, 1 room in his office for a specific price. Today, I have the whole floor and I pay the same price. Garfield doesn't know how it happened. Cheryl Rich rented me an apartment years ago. And what happened was we had looked into getting some money out of the 401k, and it didn't come in time, and the checks we gave her bounced. She never said a word. Years later, we were talking, and I said to her, Cheryl, you know, when you called me, I knew the checks bounced. She said, I know. I just didn't want to embarrass you. I learned kindness from Cheryl. She never once said an unkind word to me, even when I was at my ugliest, even when I was at my worst, even when I thought myself a victim and attacked her and others around me. She stood by me, and this is how she has been with all her friends and family, and I'm certain that everyone that knows Cheryl will agree with me. Likewise, Leroy Coleman. He has been the same way. So if they're not here tonight, I still want to honor them, and I want someone to come up and take the award for them. Cheryl, Garfield, and Leroy, if you're here, please hurry to the stage. Global Tech. Greatest computer services in the world. This is my technical support team that I don't pay. He said he's raising the rent. Cheryl Rich, thank you both. Just take the podium and say 1 minute because we're pressed for time. You got to say something.
This is the reason I didn't want to show up, because I absolutely have public fear. Then you have all these attorneys in front here, people who really could speak. But hey, it's for Audrey. But I will raise the rent though.
I have to say, Audrey, we're coming from far.
Yes.
Awesome, motivational, inspiring. It doesn't matter what mood she's in or what troubles you have, and it doesn't matter how it seemed impossible for you to get through it, but she seemed to just say something and you're just through it. I just lost my dog on Friday, so I am really sad, but I said, because of Audrey, I have to be here. Oh. She's just awesome. And Audrey, I thank you. And I couldn't have added any other way but to be here. I wish you continued success.
Thank you.
And all
the
best.
And I love you. Tatiana, please escort the guests off the stage. Ladies and gentlemen, my lovely daughter, Tatiana.
Well. Okay, listen up now.
Wait, I just want to finish the awards if you don't mind.
Okay. Audrey, I have a suggestion.
Yes?
Why don't you finish the awards?
Okay, thank you. Now, I also honored, I don't think they're here, but I also honored the entire Part 30 and Part 40. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm saying this to you. The book is called Your Eyes Can't See My Heart. And I'm going to say this to you. There are some times that I put a smile on my face and I walk in the court or I walk into the buildings and I do my job. As I told you, the day Andrew was shot in the head, I went to court and did a hearing and I won, because it's not my client's fault that I have hardship, because that's what we as legal professionals are trained to do, to put everyone else first and us second. Even our families come second to the clients we're obligated to serve. And one of the greatest things I love about Part 30 and Part 40 is that if I am crazed and I'm depressed and I'm scared and I'm angry and I'm upset because something didn't go right, I can call Kenny in Part 40 and say, can you adjourn my case? I'm really not up to coming. And you would never think I just missed a court appearance because I had something personal. The clients never know. Kenny came over, the sergeant came over, they were so kind. Okay, Ms. Thomas, this is the new date. They told me to call you and tell you. Similarly, Part 30, it's the same way. These are a team of professionals who, yes, they're paid to do a job, but I've seen how other people do the same job they're paid for, and the commitment is much different. The level of commitment is just not there. They do their job and that's it. The people in Part 30 and Part 40 are awesome, so I want to honor them tonight. I also want to honor Future Grads and HERG, because Future Grads is an organization that's not for profit, and they support the children of deportees. They give school supplies and other necessities to these children because their parents have been deported. HERG, which is headed by Dr. Kali Outkirk, provides free medical care to all the children and adults who need medical care. And in some instances, Kali Outkirk even paid for legal representation out of his own pocket so that the person that he was helping with the medical issue would have a good lawyer to represent them. Kevin Hinkson, he has just been amazing. Everyone here, I'm sure, has used Kevin Hinkson in one way or another. He commits day after day, and he helps us all win our cases. So Hinkson Investigations, if you have a case, please deal with them. Now that I've said that, I want to turn to honoring the amazing attorney that I hired and I paid him, don't say a word, to represent my son, Andrew, when Andrew was arrested. I want to tell you that Judge DeMango, who ultimately sentenced Andrew, saved his life and mine because my blood pressure was so high in dealing with the stresses that comes with having your child arrested when you were a former prosecutor in Brooklyn. But Damian Brown, from the time Andrew first had any issue, he has been there. He has been a friend to me. He has been a friend to Andrew. And I'm telling you that I know firsthand that he cares about his clients and their parents because I paid him really well. I never paid him a dime. I called him, I told him what was wrong with Andrew, and he immediately took charge. And from day one, he fought long and hard. And Andrew didn't go to jail on Damian's watch, so that you guys know this. Andrew got a non-criminal, non-jail disposition. And Andrew violated a rule of court and ended up in jail because of that violation. So Damian Brown did an exceptional job for Andrew. And our family is still together today because of what you've done for us. And we thank you. And I'm certain that all the mothers whose children you've represented, thank you. Please take the stage.
I know we're running out of time, so I won't take up too much of it. I didn't write anything anyway, so I don't know. I do want to say that this is an amazing woman, and she's taught me a lot. Most people, when the show started and the MC started rattling off all of the things in Audrey's life, I know a lot of people stood back on, why is she telling everybody all of this? Audrey is one of the best people I know. She's also one of the craziest people I know. And anyone who knows her knows exactly what we're talking about.
Your mom and dad.
But Audrey and I are not that different. We've had different hardships. And I've let those things kind of guide me in my life or inspire me. But she truly inspires me, so much so that I now have 7 kids. So, yeah, I almost didn't make it here tonight because of that. But no, but truly, she's a wonderful human being. She gives her heart to everything that she does. And every time I want to quit the practice for whatever reason, which is once a week now, I think, Audrey's there to give me an encouraging word. And the one thing I was thinking about here is that second chances.
Yes.
One of the reasons why I became a criminal defense attorney is because for a short time I believed I was a criminal. And I went out and I did bad things, and I got arrested in a few different states, let's just say. And, but I was given a second chance a number of times. And that's why I do what I do. That's why Audrey does what she does, and Doug and Andrew and the rest of them. And so I'm very honored, and I love you, Audrey.
I love you too. He got a fake one. Love you. Now, Stephen, you have an award to give out.
Actually, yes, I do. I have one award that I would like to give out. This woman is the strongest woman in this room, in my opinion. And this woman was the first person to say to me when I said, I want to go to law school, she said, do whatever you have to do. Anything at all that I could do to help you, I will. And we'll get through this, and you will become a lawyer. You will become a criminal defense attorney. You will become one of the best criminal defense attorneys New York has to see. You guys didn't hear that. But she always stood behind me, no matter what. There's no way I could ever be standing here today unless this woman was behind me. Marilyn Mackey, mother. Can you please stand? Come up. Do we have any soccer trophies? Calico, 2 soccer trophies.
2 soccer trophies.
No, here, honey. You want to say anything? No.
It's a pleasure.
Thank you, Audrey.
Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, Marilyn Mackey, my mother.
Yes.
Wow, that was a surprise. Thank you very much, and I want to thank Audrey for all she's done for Stephen.
Steal a fake trophy.
Do I get a soccer trophy?
Yes, we're going to steal one from someone. We need to steal 2. The real trophies will be here on Tuesday. Thank you. This is the last one. Let me tell you something, ladies and gentlemen. This guy called me up and said he wanted to do research on a per diem basis. And then he said, can I come to your office and just, don't go, ma'am. Please, don't go. Please, stay here. He said, can I come to your office and, because I want to just see what's going on. So I let him. Then it was, can I have a key? Because I want to, maybe when you're not there, I can get in. The next thing I know, he's the executive director of legal operations. And I said to him, you must have a mother like mine. Because that kind of determination comes from your mom. It comes from your mom. So I'm celebrating Stephen's mother because I could not do what I do without the excellent work that Stephen does. Thank you. Now, I told you I was saving the best for last, and all of you thought it was Damien, didn't you? Well, it's not. We have today a woman that I met when I was a young, angry prosecutor who had just made the transition from welfare to a paid job at the Kings County District Attorney's Office. Yes, when I landed my job at KCDA, I was on welfare. I was on welfare while I was going to law school. And I met this woman, and she was flamboyant, and she was beautiful, and she was confident, and she was sexy, but most importantly, she was kind. And no matter how angry I was, or how determined I was to make enemies, she always acted as a friend. And then one day I walked into a courtroom and I saw her sitting on the bench, and I was blown away. Because when we were in law school, we were taught that. Treat your colleagues kindly because someday you'll appear before them. You don't know where a law degree will take someone. And when I walked into the courtroom, I had no reason to think she would remember me or even acknowledge me. Well, she stopped court. And she said, "Mamita, come here." Right? And the good thing for me was the twins were with me. So they got to share in the experience of a judge shutting down court to call me up to the bench to talk to her. And they never forgot that. Evelyn Laporte, ladies and gentlemen, has struggled. She has persevered. But most importantly, she has remained kind and committed in every way, shape, and form. She is just as fair and as just and as courteous on the bench as she is in person. And it is my absolute honor and privilege to say tonight that my organization is honoring the Honorable Supreme Court Justice Evelyn Laporte. Your Honor. Please stand. Please stand. Your Honor. Your Honor, I don't want to give you a fake trophy, so I'm going to share with you the flowers my mommy gave me. I love you.
Sorry, guys. You got the trophy, I got the flowers. Good evening, everybody. It's a pleasure to be here. Audrey, I adore you.
I adore you.
And the thing is that when I met Audrey at the district attorney's office, I was already in that office where too many of us are noticeable. However, I always admired Audrey, and I have seen a number of people speak so eloquent about Audrey and said how motivated they has been because of her, that she is an inspiration to all of you. And Audrey, even though I was there longer, even though I moved up to another level, you also has been an inspiration to me. And I respect you as a professional. I respect you and admire you as my friend. And let me tell you, this woman has gone through so much. And I see myself in part of her life because I went through so much myself. And I want to tell everybody here, especially to the younger generation, that when you are faced with adversity, when you are faced with problems and situation and hard difficulties time, you do like Audrey. You never give up. Yes. What you do is that you deal with the situation. You deal with whatever it is presented before you, because that's what life is about. Difficulties that make you stronger. And as Audrey, we made it even though we have hard time, difficulties, problems, disillusions, disappointments, but we still made it.
Yes.
And to all of you out there, I said that if you are going through difficulties, disappointments, adversaries, anything that you may think that is negative, we went through it. Where you are, if you are going through those things, we were. And I bet that all these people, honorees that have been before you tonight, I bet that they have their own share of problems and difficulties and disillusions and disappointments. But keep it up. concentrate. Don't give up. Don't let anything change your mind. Don't let anything come your way. Because where we are, if you don't give up, you will be. Thank you and good night. Love you, Audrey.
Love you. Love you. Love you. Now, before I allow Ragashanti to take his, you can take the podium just to keep me honest. I want to thank one more person, and she begged me not to do this, but I'm going to do it because it's in the book. Carlene Nicole Frederick, please come here. Please come. Ladies and gentlemen, as she's taking the stage, this is Jermaine Thomas's fiance. And Carlene and I have gone through some stuff. And I'm letting you know right now, I beat the crap out of her. She said to me when I told her I was going to say that, I'm not the one who went to the hospital. Carlene and I have been through a lot, but we made a truce. We made a truce because Jermaine and her have 2 children, and Jermaine and I have 2 children. And we wanted what was best for these 4 children. And I can tell you that our schedule is as follows. They have the kids Monday to Friday, so I can go to court and do whatever it is I do. She is invaluable in taking care of all 4 children. On the weekends when I'm free, I take the 4 kids whenever the other 2 little ones will come. And I do things with them so that she can have a time. I never thought in my wildest dream, as I was telling my brother I was going to kill her and Jermaine, that this day would come. But I'm telling you that here it is 5 years later. We are a force to be reckoned with. Those kids love their mommy Carlene and their mommy Audrey so much. And this wasn't easy. Because when you are married and someone has a relationship with your spouse, one of the hardest things to do is to forgive and forget. But one of the things that Carlene and I talked about was the fact that I abandoned the marriage way before she stepped into it. And once we talked about that, I had to come to terms that I wasn't the victim. I was not the victim. I had this in mind. This was my focus. And they provide a stable home environment for the 4 children. And what I'm talking to you about is think about who is going to be raising the children as you are pursuing the me, because you always have to abandon the we when you try to pursue your dreams as a single parent. I thank you. I really do. Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, enjoy the rest of the show. Your eyes can't see my heart.
Ladies and gentlemen, I must say, some of you know my life is an open book. I have a little bit of Audrey in me, so I don't hide things and so forth, right? And
I've coined a term, a little bit of Audrey. Audreyism.
That is a laugh of affirmation. You know what I'm talking about. Many of you are familiar with, let us just say, my very troubled formative years as a youth. Yeah? You know, jails and growing up in government institutions and fights and, you know, the gun culture and all the troubles I was in. And some of you are familiar with the rest that, the transition and now I'm an anthropologist, a PhD in anthropology, etc. But when Audrey called me and, she was talking to me, she sounded like she knew things about me. Now, I don't mean to be rude, but there are times where I'm a little bit jaded because people will say things to you like some cliche things like, oh, I really admire where you're coming from. They don't mean it. It's just something to say. And before I met her, Dougie was telling me that she really rate you, she respect you. And I must admit, I didn't really get it until tonight. Because she will say, many of the things that you go through, there are some parallels in my life, and I didn't really know until tonight. And not only from Audrey, but with respect to the honorees. And you have gotten some insight into their lives. And more importantly, not only about their profession, but the type of character they possess. They're nice, good, wonderful, kind people. Clap them. And that is good. Because when I came from Jamaica and I came here and I heard the American jokes, I said, good Lord, Americans must really hate lawyers. Because like all the disparaging comments were about lawyers, and you know, this is a really good thing to get this insight into the lives of, you know, these people and the good that you're doing. And I appreciate people being so candid, you know, and the gentleman coming up and saying, listen, there was a time in my life, you know, I thought I was a criminal too, and so forth and whatever. And I really appreciate that, and I want you to take that away also, that they're nice people. And it has always been the case, really, you know, from the civil rights movement and so forth. You know, many of us think it was only black people there and all of that. A lot of white people make some incredible sacrifices. A lot of Jews were there and so forth, fighting for us. So it has been really gratifying. And I know the gentleman said that he's now emulating Audrey. He has now 7 children now. And he said he almost didn't make it because he was working on perhaps the other 2. Which suggests that he may have been involved in some extremely pleasurable extracurricular activities before coming here. But we will not elaborate or speculate on that right now. Ladies and gentlemen, unfortunately, we're out of time. This is what I'm going to do. I'm going to take charge right now. I want Philip Fraser to come up here and sing at least one. Leave me alone. I'm running the thing. Philip Fraser, come up here. Philip Fraser is one of the people who has paved the way for people like me to be here. And we will not leave here tonight without hearing from the elder, Philip Fraser. Clap Philip Fraser. Even one song from Philip Fraser tonight. It is indeed an honor.
Brother Shanti, don't know.
Here, take them.
Mr. Audrey Thomas,
yes.
It's a pleasure to be here tonight.
Thank you.
Celebrating this event, the launching of your book. Your eyes cannot see my heart.
Yes. You gotta sing. Yeah. You gotta get the last song.
Let it go, selector. We're now here to
love you, woman. Come in and beg him for 15 minutes, baby. Come in, Lord, and beg him for more. I need 15 minutes, please.
Girl, I love you and I don't want you to please stay, baby. Girl, I love you and I need you to be my bride. You wanna walk out on me, girl. You wanna leave me all alone. That ain't right. Oh no, that ain't right. When I'm feeling blue, I always think of you. And when I'm feeling cold, you are the one I wanna hold in my arms. Hold you in my arms, baby. It's alright. Girl, I love you and I don't want you to leave me. Please stay. Come on, baby. Girl, I love you and I need you to be by my side. I always love you, baby. It's alright. Alone in a crowd, on a bus after work, I'm daydreaming. The guy next to me, with his girl in his arms, my arms are empty. Ooh, baby, how does it feel when the girl that you love says that she loves him? It seems unfair to know there's love everywhere and there is none for me. Tony Curtis, yeah. Here it is. Lady, 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 why do you holler? Somebody seen your Johnny Jala.
Yep.
I can't get no sleep. Watch me, Tony Curtis. But before I do that, take that away. Take that away. Let me talk to the people. You see, before I do that, I would like to dedicate this song that you're going to play now, track 2, especially to Miss Audrey Thomas.
Philip,
Let it go.
Philip, them are cuss we here.
Let it go now. Stop them who are cuss. Yeah. You can't cuss when you come for sing, you mad? You know, say Philip Fraser love sing. Just a little piece of this song that is dedicated to Miss Audrey. Please. I won't stay long. Lady G's here and all the crews here. Track 2. This song is dedicated to Miss Audrey Thomas. She faced the hardest times you can imagine. Oh, I'm talking about Philip Fraser. But done, man. I think a joke thing there.
Ladies and gentlemen, give it up for the man himself, Philip Fraser. Give him a big hand, please.
Wonderful.
And look at the clan on stage. Looking all wonderful. We're going to ask Tony Curtis to come on stage right now. Tony Curtis, come up here. And Lucky D. And everybody else just come and say, but Tony Curtis, more I just kick it off. And again, I want to say a big, big thank you to you all for
Give me a rhythm
coming
now.
out.
Thank you, Ragga. All the people that in the house tonight that want to enjoy yourself, let me say, hell yeah. Come on now, follow back at me. Should I even listen? Should I even try? Or we'll just be hearing the same old lies. Oh yeah, say it doesn't matter what you do to yourself. Cause our relationship. Take it on, let me hear you sing. You say things way, still you. How do you say that? When you look here, you're going like you want peace, song.
Beg your peace. Hey, you see the very first time that I saw you by night, your lips say ill when I said hi. I knew right there you were the one. But I was caught up in physical attraction, but your mind's an affection. Baby, you're on board. Remember, say party, we're a party, come on. And if I hate in love, what on man could get nice, what I know. Listen, mommy said, people, are you ready? Oh Lord, man, could you Audrey Thomas rock steady?
Beg your piece to look at it.
Give it to them.
Mister. Said about that come here with the galley, can you better ease off, breeze off.
Come in.
Look at it. Yeah, look. You know why you hear the baddest song for the rhythm, man?
Check.
Let me say hell yeah.
Hell yeah.
Look, I couldn't hear spitting. A lot of men not get no. I'm not saying it. A lot of man. Easy.
Tonight.
A little war go pop up in a scheme, and every man run gun for machine. But you all love we are the weed and a war them a penny me.
Take for yourself.
Listen,
For yourself.
because a long time I know DJ in a dance. A long time I know chant in a dance. So we come for nice up the era.
Say what?
We come for nice up the era. What them say?
Dancers a laugh, liquors a laugh, drinks it's a laugh, attribute it's a laugh.
Promoter on the mic,
keep it up a laugh. Promoter on the margin up. All them laugh.
Cha la 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 la.
All them laugh.
Cha la 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 la.
Make a piece, listen. So down, put your head where you cannot reach it. It makes no sense.
Audrey. You see, if Coco T did there tonight and you look so lovely, you know what I said to you, Audrey? She loves me now. Whoa, she loves me now.
What you say?
She loves me now.
Well, I'm about cockatoo. You know me that for tell around the rhythm. You know me that say, listen. You know why didn't I see what I was supposed to see? Taking it either and a friend told me I was in danger. So much danger. Underestimating my woman, not taking her out. Working too hard and now she's going out.
Stop it. Stop everything. Big up my friend Casilda Roper Simpson.
You know. Pull up.
Take it down. Take it down.
Take it down there.
Take it down. Audrey.
Yeah.
Loki. Why you sing one song before after Audrey before we move? One little verse out there. You see, true Audrey is a woman we have that smart mouth. We want to sing that song after her.
All right. Audrey, you know when I sing the one, you can't stand back of here. You have to come out here.
I
gotta
don't
come
wanna
over,
fall off
yes,
the
sir.
stage.
Run it for me there.
Give me now.
Where's Steve? Steve!
Calico, you know the song I want. Well, no, yeah,
Calico.
listen. Listen to me, Audrey. Steve can't stand that song, yeah. No disrespect. The first track I want there, Calico. If you bring Steve in, this will have a problem.
Yeah, you're hooking up.
Put up.
No.
Put up there. Calico, you know this one I want.
Come on, no,
Come on, Calico, you know the one.
Sure.
That ballad thing there, you know it. Come, Audrey. You know, so true, you have to forget that one. You have to look for me now.
Yeah, intelligent.
What do I do without your smart mouth? Drawing me in and you kicking me out. Got my head spinning. No kidding, I can't pin you down. What's going on in that beautiful mind? I'm on your magical mystery ride. And I'm so dizzy, don't know it in me, but I'll be alright. My head's underwater, but I'm breathing. You know the song? Come on, let me hear you. You're crazy and I'm
Hold me tight, Audrey.
Let me hear, come on. Of you, I love your curves and all your edges.
Hold on there.
All your perfect.
What we do?
Give your all to me. Give my all to you. You're my hand and my. Okay. Let me hear the father. Cause I give you all of me. Let me hear you again. Come on, one more time. And you give me Okay. Now listen, come here. Now that we have everyone's attention, we want to go now song we want everybody to sing. It's been a splendid evening, and we'd like to top it off with a song from one of the greatest entertainers of all time. We dedicate this to Mrs. Thomas. Now let me see you stand up and sing this one with me.
Come on, I want you to all stand up for this song.
Yeah.
I want every artist come join the one. Everybody, because we all know this one. And
Yeah,
if
man.
you know this one, please sing along with me.
Yeah, man, stand up.
Calico.
Gotta watch you know. Stand up. Stand up.
Are you ready?
I want you to rock wherever you stand up.
Let me see how it works.
Rock wherever you stand up. United.
Don't worry.
Come on.
About a thing. Everybody. Gonna be alright. Oh, yeah. Don't worry about a thing. 'Cause every little thing gonna be alright.
Wait a minute. My aunt came all the way from Jamaica. Big up my auntie Andrey.
Yeah, yeah.
One more time.
A melody's pure and true. This is all this time my message to you. I want you to come and sit there, come on. Say don't worry, don't you worry about a thing. Say the heart you know, 'cause every little thing is gonna be alright. Say don't worry about a thing. 'Cause every little thing is gonna be alright. Yes, it be. Sing it, don't worry. Don't you worry. Sing, little bird. Sing my
by my doorstep, singing sweet songs, a melody's pure and true.
This is all just our message to.
I want to hear, let me hear the audience, let me hear the audience, let me hear the audience. Don't, let me hear the audience, come on. Come on, let me hear everybody, come on, let me hear you.
Audrey, gonna be alright.
Audrey, don't you worry.
Don't worry about a thing. Every little thing is gonna be alright.
I want you to all give yourselves a round of applause. Come on, come on.
Thank you very much.
Gonna be alright.
Cut the music.
One moment.
Thank you.
One moment. Guys, I really need you guys to hear this, right? This is what they did to me yesterday while we were rehearsing and I was in tears. Are you guys gonna do the one with my name in it? So y'all can't make any noise, you gotta listen attentively. This is hot. Acapella.
You know the one we do with our name tonight.
Acapella.
But I just tried to do it, I did it.
Acapella.
Don't worry about a thing. Cause every little thing is gonna be alright.
Sing it,
don't worry,
don't you worry
about a thing.
Singing out in the way, yeah.
Every little thing
is gonna be alright, yeah. You see, we rise up this morning, hard to smile with the rising sun. Then 3 little birds stood by our doorstep now, singing sweet songs, yeah. Melodies pure and true, singing. This is our just our message to you. Singing, don't worry about a thing.
Let me put a little bass in this now.
'Cause every little thing is gonna be alright. Saying, don't worry about a thing. 'Cause every little thing is gonna be alright.
Hey, hey!
Saying, don't worry, yeah. This we gonna take it down low. Don't worry. Audrey, don't worry. Audrey, don't worry.
Audrey, you want me to sing for the one night? Listen up.
Lean on me when you're not strong. And I'll be your friend. And I'll help you carry on. Oh, it won't be long. I'm gonna need somebody to lean on. You just call on your brother when you need a hand. We don't need somebody to lean on. Just might have a problem that you'll understand. We all need somebody to lean on. Yeah, yeah, yeah. If there is a load that you can bear, that you can carry, Audrey is right. She's up to road. All you can do, you just call that Audrey. You just call on a brother when you need a friend. We all need somebody to lean on. You just might have a problem that you'll understand. We all need somebody to lean on. Hey!
Ladies and gentlemen, I want to say this to all of you. If I can make it, you have no excuse. I think that my purpose, as in telos, as in the end that I was created for, was to take away people's excuses. I have been through things that would make other people lose their mind. I have been through things that would cause other people to commit murder. And the thing that got me through it was realizing that I am 90% complicit in the things that happened to me. I am an attorney, a mother of 9, a grandmother, a radio show host, the co-editor-in-chief of a major magazine. Yes, it's major. And so many other things. And the only thing I did, ladies and gentlemen, was change me. You cannot change the people whose life you're sharing in. But you can always choose to make your story a story of love, a story of victory. And I'm going to tell you what Jermaine Thomas said to me 5 years ago when we were chastising him and tearing him down for sleeping with someone else. He didn't kill my mother. He turned to me and he said, "Didn't I do anything good? Didn't I do anything good?" And that thing pierced my heart like a knife, because he did. He married me with 7 children and cared for those kids like they were his own. He worked hard every single day to watch me go through law school and acquire my dreams. He babysat my children when their father was in Jamaica because he had been deported. And here it was. The one thing he wanted for himself, I was trying to make him into a monster because of it. Life is a beautiful thing. In everything, ask, how can I change me? And I promise you, someday you too will have the happiness that I'm feeling right now. Don't give up. Just change you. Good night.